Hello, culinary wine students. Kirsten Fox. Welcome back to another edition of Culinary Wine Questions. Today we're going to explore how to sell Pinot Grigio, also known as Pinot Gris, at your tables. What is it? What are the characteristics? What does it pair with? And kind of how do you describe it at your tables for your guests? Hey, Douglas, good to see you. So today I'm going to be drinking a Pinot Grigio, lucky for me. So today I have it's a cupcake Pinot Grigio out of Venezia. So it's out of Italy. It's an IGT, which means it's grown in an Italian region that, but it's not necessarily following the rules that are prescribed for that region. So it's kind of a rebel. IGT wines tend to be, in essence, they're making wine in a certain region, and they put the region on their label, but they're not following the prescribed rules of that region. So really some awesome IGT wines coming out of Italy, especially like the super Tuscan wines that you might have heard of out of Tuscany are IGT wines. They are grape growers and winemakers in that area who have chosen not to follow the rules. So anyway, this cupcake is out of Venezia in the northern Italian region. So let me take a little sip of this. Not super strong on the nose. My mouth is watering a lot, so a lot of acid in that, and getting some lemon. Very light, very friendly wine to sip. In fact, I'm going out for seafood tonight, so this is a wine that I would want to be sipping with seafood. So welcome. Just briefly, I'm the headmistress of the Fox School of Wine, the CEO of the Culinary Wine Institute that provides wine training online for servers and restaurants. I write for the Huffington Post about wine. Oh, and I'm a sales rep for Southern Wine and Spirits here in Utah. So a lot of different wines. A lot of different ways to incorporate wine into my life. So today we're talking about Pinot Grigio, and it is exactly the same grape and everything as Pinot Gris. Pinot Gris is the French way to say Pinot Grigio, and Italian is Pinot Grigio. So it's the same exact grape. Now, what's interesting is most of the Pinot Gris from France is grown in Alsace, and Alsace is not a freezing cold region. It's got a little bit of warmth to it. And then most of the Pinot Grigio from Italy is from northern Italy. So the styles of the two do tend to be slightly different. So Pinot Grigio tends to be a little lighter in style. It tends to be more citrusy on your palate and higher in acid. Pinot Gris, interestingly, out of France, and then some of the New World wineries will name their wine Pinot Gris or Pinot Grigio following the style they're trying to follow. So Pinot Gris would be out of Alsace, would be that a little bit richer style, a little bit denser. It's allowed to hang a little longer. It tends to offer some riper characteristics, but it also can offer less acidity. So let me show you on a really cool tool that I use. This is it's courtesy of the International Wine Guild, and that's where I got my executive sommelier certification. And I'm going to hold this up, and what this is a grid. It's a grid that starts over here with very, very light and moves over here to full body. And then it starts up here at the top at dry and moves down to sweet. And I've circled for you, this is the category of light to medium bodied. And you can see this is right here, Pinot Gris from Oregon. And then right here, so more full-bodied and certainly a warmer climate would be Pinot Gris from California, is what that says there. So you can see that the cooler region, and this would equate to Italy, is on this side under light medium, and this is kind of right at the bar of medium bodied, and that would be Pinot Gris from California, which would mimic more the Alsatian style of the grape. So let's talk about some of the descriptors. If you are talking about the, we're going to talk about them as French style or Italian style. So if you're talking about the French style, it's going to be more viscous and it's going to be more round in your mouth. It's going to be more full-bodied in your mouth, not to the full body mark, but more full-bodied than the lighter Pinot Grigio. It's going to offer more of the peach, honey, and some citrus, but more of the ripe citrus like orange in the glass. And it's going to pair with things like white meats. And so you can look at any of a menu and anything that's white. So pork, if it's very, very lightly dressed. Fish certainly would be awesome with it. Chicken, if it's lightly sauteed, lightly seasoned as well. So any white meat, and that's the French style Pinot Gris. If it's a Pinot Grigio, like I'm drinking right now from Italy, or typically more of the cooler areas of Oregon, Willamette Valley, that kind of thing, that's going to be a lighter style. It's going to have more of a citrus forward. And when I say citrus, I don't mean that orange citrus, or it's going to be more to the white grapefruit or lemon area. And it's also going to maybe have some mineral in it. It's going to be what I would consider lean or racy, very driven, very, boy, like I said, I had, my mouth started watering when I started sipping this. So that is going to pair beautifully with appetizers because it gets your mouth watering, which is what you want at the beginning of a meal. You want your salivary glands to start going, oh, we're going to start eating now, and you want to get them rolling. So beginning of the meal, but then also shellfish. This is, and any super, super light white fish. This is almost like squeezing a lemon on those foods. So Pinot Grigio is a lot more like a lemon than the Pinot Gris style, the French style of the same grape. Let's see. Oh, cool things about Pinot Grigio. Same thing as Pinot Gris. It is a super genetically unstable grape. Oh, can you see my cats? Oh, that's so funny. I guess you can, can't you? There they are. They're that's so funny. Thank you, Adina. That's nice of you to say. They're very nice cats. So the grapevine itself of Pinot Grigio, Pinot Gris, is very genetically unstable. In fact, on one vine, you will actually have, now, the reason that this wine is called Grigio or Gris is because it means gray. So Pinot Noir is black Pinot, and Pinot Grigio or Pinot Gris is gray Pinot. And the gray actually changes in color on even a single vine. You might have a bunch of pinkish gray grapes, and then just further down the vine, you'll have bluish gray grapes. And that same vine the next year might do a complete opposite and flip them, or they'll all be gray pink or all be gray blue. It literally changes by the season. So, but it still produces a nice white wine. So one of the things that I always say about Pinot Gris or Pinot Grigio is the grape itself does not produce a lot of complexity. So charging a lot, or it's typically one of the least expensive wines on a wine list. So if someone is looking for a simple wine, they're not looking for something really complex, the Pinot Gris or Pinot Grigio is a perfect way to steer them, because they're going to get that nice, very nice wine, typically not very expensive. And that is what a guest who's asking for, oh, just something to quaff, I just want to sip it, I don't want to have to concentrate on it, that's a great wine to steer them to. And with it being the least expensive, when I see really expensive Pinot Gris and Pinot Grigios on wine lists, I tend to steer away from them, because the grapes themselves just can't get that complex. The aromas and the flavors are truly not the most complex that you can get out of a white wine. So let me look at my notes here, see if I've left. Oh, so key descriptors for Pinot Gris or Pinot Grigio: refreshing, neutral. It's just absolutely neutral. It's not gonna, your food's gonna all go great with this wine. And easygoing. So I would say crisp as well, if it's a wine from Italy or the cooler regions in Oregon. And maybe a little more, oh, it's got a little more body to it if it's from California or Alsace. Let's see, anything else? Nothing here. Does anybody have any questions that I can answer right now about? Now, this tends to be one of the easiest wines to sell on a wine list. It's one of the simpler ones. People can pronounce it, so it's often one of the ones that you'll see a lot of sales in. But if someone is asking for, maybe I'm new to wine, or I just want to sip it and not think about it, Pinot Gris or Pinot Grigio is a great option for selling at your tables. If you have any other questions or anything, you can always email me. I'll put my email in right here, and that is Kirsten@culinarywineinstitute.com. And you can follow me on, Huffington Post right now, and that's kind of a more entertaining column, and then certainly Culinary Wine Institute and Fox School of Wine, plus Southern, of course, my sales team and such. I'm always happy to give you advice inside or outside of the Southern hat that I wear. Thanks so much for joining. Serve those Pinot Grigios at your table. Cheers.